Hello and welcome everybody. I am SocioPsycho and today we look at a game called CloudBuilt. Now this is a game created by Coilworks and it is a runner platform style with an interesting graphic style that's cel shaded art. It looks actually quite beautiful and it fits the theme of the world very well. Let's jump into the options menu to show you exactly what you have. Now for a game like this, field of view is very nice to have, and it has such a wide berth. You can go all the way up to 150. I personally enjoyed it being at 100. You have mouse sensitivity, which usually I wouldn't really put much stock into, but with this style of game, it is very nice to have that, depending on your gameplay style. Graphics, they have a wide array of screen resolutions, your draw distance, your effects, and it may not look like there's much here, but the way the art style is done, the game looks quite good. Now when we go into the audio slides are very receptive, and you have subtitle options. The game's music is just gorgeous. It's gorgeous, darling, gorgeous. It fits the theme of the world perfectly. It captivates you and rushes you along with it. It keeps the tempo, it keeps the melody, it keeps the emotion, and it fits just perfectly. I have not really, it's very rare to see a game that does such an amazing job with the iteration of the music, and this has pulled it off. Now the controls of this game, you don't have too many controls as it's a running platformer, so it keeps it simple in what you use to get around the map, but all the keys are rebindable with ease, so that is nice. And we'll close out here. Now what exactly, you may say, is this? It has a really good story element to it.
Since I first left this room and handed over control to my shaken mind, it has repeated these scenarios where I have just the power to meet any challenge I face, where the mission is always possible to complete. This is a world providing a sense of control, of power, everything we were deprived of in the chaos of those final days. I remember believing once that as long as we had the will to fight on, we couldn't truly be stopped. But I left those ideas on the wayside long ago. I refuse to be comforted by them now. Perhaps in seeing through this lie, I can begin to understand what happened to us after all.
So, this game has a story element which you wouldn't exactly think it would have, being that it's more of a running platform heavy format, but they've managed to integrate a story element into the game which is quite captivating. Now, the basis of the game is the woman on the bed right now is you, and the figure is more like your consciousness, and she was a military personnel caught in an explosion and is currently hooked up to a bunch of machines and is trying to be kept alive. When you dive into her mind, you have these missions from her subconscious dream as a childhood of how she saw different parts of the world, and these missions each have different challenges and layouts to them. But not only that, right? So you have your leaderboard on one side. You can filter it out to show friends or show the whole world. But you also have options upon how you want to play the game. You can do it with no ammo, fragile. You can only take one hit, so you get hit once and you're dead. And supercharge, or blast away initially along any surface with supercharged boosters. Beacons, collect all beacons and return to the start as fast as possible. There's different subcategories of play in each level, which make it a little bit more challenging and add a variety of replayability. If you're somebody who really enjoys this style of game, it allows you to be more open-end and not get stale later on. So we'll go into normal because, let's be honest, while I can hold my own in this game, I'm definitely not winning any awards anytime soon. Alright, so what this game pretty much has is a different variety of mechanics throughout it. which make it a bit challenging. But it's not always just walk one way and you have the mission complete. So as you can see, it shows the layout of a map, and every map has different mechanics to it, different layouts and jumpings and ways you need to get around the world. So let's not worry about time. Let me explain exactly what's going on instead of trying to rush the clock and not be able to get either one done. So you have some abilities and you're fitted with rocket boosters, which really makes it a fast-paced. So you can double jump, which gets you up there. You can wall run, which I totally messed up. Okay, let's try this again. Wall run. There we go. You can grip onto ledges and pull yourself up. Now this, as you can see, is an electrical field. If I get hit by this electrical field, it will damage me and I'll end up just like that. There's also these little razor mechanics that if you try rushing through and you run right into that. This one right here isn't a big deal, but later on other missions, it can get quite annoying when you're going. Well, not really annoying because you just restart fairly decently. But if you're going on a line and you got a momentum and you're like, alright, I got this, and one of those pops up right in front of your face because you weren't paying attention or you didn't know that was going to happen, then it stops you and you fall to your death or something. But when you do fall to your death, this game is generous, fairly generous, in where it gives you the checkpoints. It won't be like, okay, we're going to make you go 60% of a map before we give you a checkpoint. It'll break it up by 30%, another 30%, but what it will do is, yeah, it might be 30%, but it's still going to be hard. And more importantly, you have a limited amount of lives to be able to try the mission. Now, the more maps you complete, the higher chances you'll get. So if you see right now on my screen, on the top right side, the number 13, that's how many lives I have to be able to try to do this again. So if I'm trying to just figure this out mechanic-wise or anything else, I don't have to worry about feeling rushed in that aspect. Now these little shields I can't get through unless I charge my weapon fully up and I blast it. That's a mechanic I haven't seen too much in, but it's still a mechanic that's there. Little turret bots that will shoot you and kill you. And that was a health kit I picked up. Your ammo regenerates. Let's get rid of this bot first. So these are basically force field. You can't go through them and they zap you and damage you if you try. Which in the right place can be really annoying because it stops you altogether. And we'll show you some of the harder missions as well. And we'll probably do that without me talking too much because this is not a game that you can really... It needs to be shown in real value, but how do you commentate while needing to focus completely on something like this? It's... I mean, I'm good, but I'm not that good. Come on. Okay, there we go. So how do I feel about this game and the controls? I'll admit, I was very frustrating in the beginning trying to learn the controls. It was very difficult for me as somebody who's not really used to these styles of games. While there was a tutorial up in it to play the game, and very frustrating at first because I don't play these types of games. And then while there was a tutorial that was helpful, it just came down to me having muscle memory and working my mind around the game, but it was worth it because it is actually quite fun. Now every time, like I said, you complete a mission, a new mission which you haven't completed already, when you come back to this room, a bit of a story will progress. And the story is very good. Like I said before, I did not expect this game to have a story that was this good, and yet it was. Now, how does it play, you might add? How does the game handle and feel? It feels very responsive, and I'm sure the few issues I've had with the handling has been mainly my fault. The main issue that I've been able to see myself personally, like I said, this could easily be mine because it's hard to make a judgmental decision on something mechanical wise when you're not that good at it. When I'm jumping wall to wall, either side running up one wall to another wall, or running straight up a wall and then having to flip completely around and jump up a wall parallel to the other wall, it gets a little difficult in the controls, but like I said, that's probably just more me than anything else. The game handles very well and very receptive, and the booster jets that they give you make the game very it perfectly fits. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that there. It has a very fast I messed that up bad. Pace feel to it, which is perfect because that's the whole premise of the game. People who play this are going to want something that not only challenges them, but has good, strong leaderboard. Oh, so what is there to say about the game is that it is difficult, but it's rewarding. It pushes you to want to be better than you are, which I respect. It really tries to push you further and harder, and in doing so, you continue to either get frustrated or learn. It has a wide variety of mechanics and gameplays, which are mixed in with a high tempo, and you clinch up. You're like, no, and your legs, kind of flinch, you're really intense. It really draws you in because you don't want to fall to your death, you don't want to lose, and it does a really good job on that. So a whole bunch of mechanics, and as you can see, the rank times. So what do you say about a game like this? And I guess the most important thing is that, well, yes, it does feel hard, it does not feel abusive. And I feel that is really the most important aspect that the game has to offer. Is that, yeah, you may lose here and there. You have the option to learn and continue to get better, and doing so is directly on you. The mechanics of the game are sound, but not unfair. And learning how to do things faster or better is really up to you. There are multiple paths which you can take, and some are easier, some are harder, and it's up to you to find out throughout the play times which one is the better path to take. So it allows you to pretty much just go on, learn, try again and again and again, but it's not abusive. It's very generous in what it does, and it doesn't feel like it scales just crazy. It respects your time. I mean, you can compare your scores against other people, the leaderboard, or if you're even just in it for the story, which is good, or music. I mean, music is terrific. So yeah, I do. I think this game is worth it, and if you get it, I hope you have as much fun as I did, or more. Because, let's be honest, I'm not that good at the game. So one thing you need to keep in mind is the fact that because it's such a fast-paced game, and there's a couple bright light parts from your booster rockets, is that some people, if you're perceptible to motion sickness, this might affect you as well. So you need to keep that in mind if that's an issue on a personal level for you. I will now show you one more level, and I thank you everybody for watching. Subscribe for more videos. I do plenty of reviews on my channel of many games you might not even know about that come out on Steam. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time, everybody. Here's one map for you. Sit back and enjoy.